Okay, that's better. Helps if I turn on the mic. See, you yap at me when I'm trying to get things set up and telling me all these things about
Well, yeah, and you're
Australia.
reading me big long notes and everything.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to prepare. Like, you just come in here cold turkey all the time, and like, I have to do everything. Whatever. So, okay, that's better. Okay, we've got sound. Helps if I turn on the mic. See? Okay, that does that. All right, so I'm assuming everybody can hear us and see us now, which is a good thing. I'm just going to adjust our thing here a little bit. I need to lengthen those cables on that. And
You say that every time.
you need to move over. You're crowding me. Jeez. Okay, are we comfortable now? Yeah, we are. Okay, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us. We were just having some seating issues here. So Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie and Donna and Russ. Russ, it's not morning. And it's not morning where you live either, so don't give me that excuse. Let's see, Barb is here, Charlotte, Judy, Katie Crafts, Suzanne, Catherine, Melissa, Sue Norfleet, Laura, Quilter Girl. Where did that go now when I bounced down? Alice Duke. I think you might be new. I don't know if we've ever seen you on here before, but welcome. Maybe you have been and I just don't remember, and that's a good possibility. Tamela, Evelyn. Did I say hello to Donna Bogart? Mona is here. Sherry is here. Candace. Jean E is here. Designing J. Josie. Marilyn. Patsy. Elsa. And Elsie. And Brenda's here. And Jeff. Faith. Kathy, did I say Kathy? I don't think I did. Maxie Doodle is here.
Jeannie.
Jeannie, hello Jeannie. Dara, Awkward Quilter. Okay, it just did it again. It pops up real fast and then I lose my spot.
Well, just look for Jeannie.
I'm looking for Jeannie.
Right there, the big orange one.
Yeah, the big orange one. Jeannie's not big orange. No. Awkward Quilter, Janet Lloyd, Gail, checking in from Maryland. I hate that when it does that. Duck, first time. Oh, okay. And Kathy Klein, Jan. Did I say Melissa? I think I did. I'm trying to keep up here. Everybody's coming in here rapidly. Heather, Pamela, and so I don't think I missed anybody. But I like to make sure that I say hello to everybody that comes in. I know it's a bit tedious maybe on that, but you know, we like to set the atmosphere that all are welcome here, and you are. Julia is here as well. But I'm telling you, it is hard to keep up with the chat that's on here. You know, probably the way we should actually do this is to have Walter on his computer upstairs, but then we'd have to do it. Now that won't work. No, the technology, we do not have it because we'd have to do it through Zoom and then link up, and I don't like doing that because I get it screwed up. But anyways, we'll survive. Okay, so I think we said hello to everybody. So welcome everybody. Glad that you're here. And well, there's lots to talk about today, of course, because the big issue, which you've already heard several times from me if you've been watching our So Chatty and other things, that yes, we did hit the 10,000 mark. And we are going to talk about what we have planned for that. I've already, if you saw Stephanie's live at 5 yesterday, I was on there with her and we discussed some of the plans, and I have a little bit more in detail about that because I spent part of today working on details for all of this. Walter spent most of the day working on plans for Australia to discover that one place is Australians. They love their holidays. Like we're thinking, because we're going to be there over Easter, the long weekend in Easter, and wow, yeah, Good Friday, you expect everything to be shut down on. At least it's like that in our country pretty much. But then Saturday and Sunday are back to business as usual pretty much. And except for schools, Easter Monday is kind of optional for most businesses. They want to be open or not, but most take the option to stay open. Well, it looks like in Australia, that's a 4-day weekend for them. And that's one thing I like about the Aussies, though. They make everything into a major event. The only problem is when you're trying to book stuff around those major events, it's not easy. But Walter's working on it. He's my travel agent, so he'll get us all sorted out. Hi, Pat. Thank you. And Ingrid's here. Dale's here. I think I said Katie Crafts. I said Charlotte. Yep, just catching up. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 10,000 bash. We're going to talk about the retreat in May as well. We're going to talk about Accuquilt. I got some interesting information about my own machine and about the company itself that I want to reveal to you. Yeah, and if we we may get to the main topic today, it's what we have found out about donating stuff to charities around. And that all comes from, if you saw the short, cleaning out the kitchen cupboards. But let's start with what we have been up to. Do you have anything to show?
Oh no, not right now.
Did you not? Oh,
I was going to finish that quilt
that you screwed up?
that I screwed up.
Yeah, right.
I realized that 3 of the rows were on backwards, so I had to. I've unpicked that. I just have to sew back.
Do you know how much fun I had with this? The only thing that would have made it better is if I had noticed.
The thing was,
he noticed first.
I noticed it first. He didn't notice it. It was pretty obvious.
Still a mistake. And I said, well, you have to rip it out. You have to rip it out.
It's been ripped out. I meant to sew it together today, but then I got sidetracked on Australia. So
yeah, that's a story. Well, you went to a sew thing yesterday, though, too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So what were you working on there?
I was working on a shirt
for me.
Parrot shirt.
Oh, my parrot shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I want that ready
Everybody
for Australia.
loved the fabric.
Of course they did, and they'll love it even more when they see it on me. Because I just bring something
It's
to it.
very yellow though.
Well, I can wear yellow. It'll bring out my eyes. Jaundice. No, I have blue eyes. I won't do it. But I need it for Australia. I mean, it'll be an appropriate shirt for Australia. But anyways, okay, so that's what you were up to. Well, what I was up to, of course, we had a pop-up sew day. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. I want, let's see, what is that? Get rid of that. I want my pictures. Where are my pictures? Here's my pictures. Okay. So yesterday, and no, I haven't changed it over to that screen yet. Before you yell at me and say, did you turn on the screen? This seems to be your war cry these days. I know what I'm doing right now. I may not in 5 minutes. We had a pop-up sew day yesterday. Many of you that are on here now were there yesterday. We had a new record high for the pop-up sew day. At the height of it, we had 45 people, which was really, really great. And it was a good day. We had a lot of fun. Walter missed out on it all because he insisted he had to go and do his little sewing things with the drag queens. How many drag queens were there?
There was there was really only Brendan sewing his stuff, but then later there was a second one that showed up. Mm. Well, there was 2 there altogether, and then one of the 2 left, and a new one came later on. So there was 3 altogether. So
at one point there were 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 drag queens, and then the rest of you, which was only 3 more. We were 2 more.
Yeah. Well, there was Mark, who is kind of married to a drag queen.
Okay.
And he was doing a jacket, one of these type of jackets. And he was, and then there was Brendan, and there was Gail. She was sewing a top. And then there was Karen. She was finishing the binding on a quilt.
Oh, she had a quilter, did she? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was her quilt like?
It was black and red.
Okay, that's good. Should have
I
taken
didn't
it.
really see it that close.
Oh, you should have taken a picture of it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so that's where Walter was. So his fan club, they all were talking about you and how much they missed you. With that,
It was fun to catch up with my regular crowd.
with your, well,
Well, with my
I wouldn't call
garment
them the
sewing.
regular crowd. Well, we had a lot of fun without you. So, anyways, and I think a lot of people got things done. We saw a lot of interesting things. And yeah, I didn't buy anything. I didn't get enabled, although that was not because people did not try to do that. But yeah, it was a good day. But, anyways, the things that I've been working on now, this one, you have seen it. Actually, this is not a good picture of it. Why did I put that picture up? I keep getting them mixed up. Well, I'll show it again on Idiot Quilter because I have it now quilted and no, I don't. Do I? Yes, I did. I
Yes, you
did
did.
finish it. Yeah, I've got it quilted and bound now. But I needed a name for it, and all of you gave me all kinds of suggestions, and we went over those on So Chatty this week, and there was quite a few names. A lot of people liked using names that had to do with stars in it, which or with the points, which is pretty obvious. So guess what? I didn't pick any of those names, but it gave me an idea. So this quilt is now known as When Stars Collide. That's what I'm calling it. And I have written a pattern for this. And this pattern is in PDF format, and it will be free for you to download. I haven't released it yet. I will give you all the details then in the link for it. I am going to allow the people who register for my 10,000 bash, more on that in a moment, to download it first because they may want to work on it during the 10,000 bash. Again, more about that in a moment. But don't despair. I am going to put it on a Google Drive, and I'm going to publish in the show notes for some of my videos after the bash. So after February the 10th, so that anybody who wants it can get a copy of it. Now, it is my first pattern, and I've had Stephanie look it over for me and gave me some suggestions to how to make things a little better. But because it's my first pattern, there's bound to be something that will be confusing or a mistake, and so be it. Just let me know when you finally get it and you're working on it or whatever, and I will update the pattern accordingly. I've tried my best to make it very clear and to make it, accurate, but first one. So, I don't have any experience writing patterns before. So that will be available for everybody, the ones coming to the bash first. But after that, it'll be available for everybody for a couple of weeks. It'll be up there and you can download it and do what you want with it. Now, this was last week. We had the virtual retreat with Shannon and Stephanie. And Shannon created this pattern for a foundation paper piecing piece. So we learned how to do foundation paper piecing with this. And I think it's a very nice design. Shannon taught very, very well, and her pattern was pretty much easy to follow without any problems at all. But I don't want a wall hanging from this. I wanted to make it into something bigger, so I did. So I made it into a quilt. Don't anybody ask me if I'm going to have a pattern for this, because I won't, because this was all improv. Meaning that I started with Shannon's pattern in the center and I built out from there, and it just developed as I went along. I haven't got it quilted yet, but it will be soon, and I'll show you the final product of that. So what do I call this one? Because this whole quilt is basically built around Shannon's pattern, I call it Shannon's Way, and it is a play on Shannon's name as well. So this is Shannon's Way, this quilt. And I'm working on Stephanie's pattern, but I'm exploding it as well. I'm making it bigger. It's going to be actually a fairly large quilt when I get done, because there's going to be 16 of Stephanie's blocks, and they each measure about 18 inches. So yeah, and by the time, if I put any sashing on this, which I don't know if I'm going to put sashing on it, I think I'm kind of liking it. If you see, it's not sewn together up there, but you notice how the blocks come together and they've got those cornerstones and they'll match up. And so you'll get a 4-patch, you know, where each of the blocks go. So I don't think it's going to really need sashing on it. It will have a border. We'll go from there, but I've still got more blocks to make. So, but it's a great pattern that Stephanie created, really easy to follow. And you've heard me say this before, I love Stephanie's patterns because they're easy to follow, clearly written, and they look very complex, but they're not when it comes to making them. And I think that's really the beauty of Stephanie's patterns. They have a wow factor to them. So that's what I was working on. And let's go back here. And let's just see what, catch up with what people are saying. Let's go. Where did I leave off? Oh, geez. You guys have just been talking up a store. Okay. I think, see, Pat came in and Andy came in. Hello, Andy. Elsie says, oh, nice. You'll be traveling in the spring.
Well, spring for us, fall for...
It'll be fall for the Australians, yeah. But it's not like here. Their weather is like, we've been there when it's in their winter, sort of their winter. We've been in the summer, the whole bit. It's still nice. The weather is, yeah, usually nice. It's warm. It's very warm. So, yeah.
Actually,
Julie's
we've never
here.
been there in the winter.
I guess we've never been like actual.
No,
we've been
there.
On the tail end of fall.
We went last time we went. It was March, April too. So,
but when we were there, well, we were there for their summer. When we were there
the first
at Christmas
time we were
first
there
time,
at Christmas time, which was their summer. It was, boy, it was hot.
It was very hot. Like it was 40 degrees C. So that's like fry an egg. Kind of a thing. But yeah, you're right. We've never really been there in what would be truly
We've been there in
winter.
January and February, and then the last time we were in March and April. And I think this time, yeah, it's about the same time as we were there.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is. Might actually be a little later, isn't it?
Might be a tiny bit later than what we were last time, but that's okay. Where we're traveling in Australia, yeah. I think is
not worried about that at all. No. Just going down here. I said hello to Julie. It's freezing in Arkansas. Depending now, Quilter girl who's in Australia, depending where you're staying, most shops stay open. The Good Friday is a public holiday and Easter Monday. However, Saturday, Sunday, and even the Monday, most shops are open, offices, etc. closed. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, here, Easter Monday is pretty much not considered a holiday, except for the schools, right?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Oh, hello, Joy T. Joy T. Okay, I'm not sure how to say that. I'm probably saying it wrong, but let's just call you Joy, shall we? Yeah. Yeah, Stephanie can't wait to see your quilt. He was looking at yours, Stephanie. Stephanie did the same quilt as Walter at the retreat.
It won't be quite as pristine as yours.
I have to admit, though, it does, even with that mistake he had in it, which he's fixing, it did look pretty good. Then we have to get it on Lucy. Oh, yeah, we'll see what happens with all that. Because, you know, Walter likes to be very independent. He doesn't want me to give him a hand on anything.
Well, no, you're going to have to help me with Lucy.
Damn right, you're not touching Lucy without me helping you. No one violates my Lucy. She's a good girl, she is. So
I taught you how to give her a blowjob, though.
Okay, we'll leave that alone. Olaf is here from Norway. Good to see you. Nice to have a Norwegian with us. Nancy Lavature is here. Paula Hoopengarner is here. And
Yeah, you weren't very good at cleaning out Lucy when we first got her. Remember that time you had that needle that wouldn't sew? And then I tackled it and I got it working okay.
oh yeah, well, you're such a savior in all cases. I am not worthy. Okay. Um, Nancy says, "Hi everybody. Sorry I couldn't stay long yesterday, Steve, but I just thought I would pop in to say hi. Oh, that's okay, Nancy. You know it's come and go at pop-ups, whatever. Um, Russ says Walter should bring a camera to his so day to join pop-up so day. Oh, Russ.
It's been suggested, but
And he won't do it. He's got an internet connection there. He has his camera with him. He won't do it because Walter's very shy. Not with it.
I don't think the other people would appreciate it.
I don't think they'd mind. You'd ask them. All you have to do is go say, hey, do you mind? Would you like to be? If they say no, then you don't. If somebody says, yeah, but you never know until you ask. But he won't. So let's give up on that idea. On your Accuquilt says, on your sew days, do you offer breakout rooms for all? One room? Nope, one big room. Why don't I do breakout rooms? Because unless you're in business, I don't believe breakout rooms really work. People feel I'm part of another group, a paid membership, and they tried to have breakout rooms for one of their events a couple of years ago, or whenever breakout rooms first started. Nobody went in to the breakout rooms. They felt like they were missing something. And because it's a pop-up sew day, people don't usually, it's not like we're taking specific topics that day and breaking it down. So people who are interested in, say, hand embroidery or something would go in one room, and people interested in applique go in another room. We're all together, we share our ideas, we show what we're doing. And so that's why I've never bothered to do breakout rooms with it.
Yeah, I don't know if it would work here. Like, I mean, I worked in a business where they tried a couple of events with breakout rooms, and it was, even in the business environment, it was not necessarily the best.
Well, I feel when you have a breakout room, well, first of all, you need to have somebody moderate the breakout room. That's the one thing there. If you don't, that's what happened with this one that I was in before. They didn't have anybody to be the moderator. So a couple of people went into the breakout room and kind of, okay, what are we doing in here? And nobody would talk, or it just didn't seem to work. So what I'm saying is it needs a level of organization when you go to that. And the whole point of the pop-up sew days is it's a very relaxed, it's a come as you are. I don't structure it in any way. It might be different if it was well, I wouldn't do it with my retreats either. But if I was doing something that I had several people who are experts or really good at doing certain things, and I know I've got a group of people that would be really interested in that, and these other people, the experts, are willing to moderate it, then it might be a possibility.
Or unless you had something like a so long going on at the same time with a group or something, yeah. Right? Like a specific group was doing a project together, you might do something like that.
But the other problem with that, in the way I operate a pop-up sew day, is I don't want to fragment the group by doing something like that. So maybe somewhere down the road or something, I will have an occasion when I might think breakout rooms would be a good thing to have. I don't know. But right now, yeah, I'm not going to. Okay. Just people are saying hello to everybody. People like the quilt. Melissa says, is this charm pack friendly? Mine, definitely. I'm assuming you're talking about When Stars Collide. Yeah, definitely. I've designed it to work with 3 charm packs. 2 that are a different color, a variety of colors, although you could use 1 or 2 colors. I mean, it's pretty flexible that way. And then another charm pack of whites for background kind of a deal. There is a little yardage involved as well, but yes, it's definitely charm pack friendly. That's why I developed it, because I have a ton of charm packs and I want to start using them up. And but if it's also friendly towards scraps. The only thing with scraps is you have to cut 5-inch squares, because that quilt is made up of primarily HSTs, and so you're making 5-inch HSTs and you're trimming them down to 4.5 inches. You're using 5-inch squares basically to make your HSTs. So yeah, so definitely charm pack friendly. Everybody's saying hi. I'm just catching up. Great pattern, Shannon. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. And it bounced. And where did it bounce to? Okay. I hate this when this does that.
It's okay.
Everybody's loving Stephanie's and Shannon's patterns, which is great. Julie likes the name that I gave Shannon's. Stephanie says, bring me back an extra fluffy kangaroo. There's no fluffy. Oh, Melissa, sorry, I meant, is your pattern at Steven charm pack friendly? Yeah, maybe I think I've answered that. Yeah, it is. Oh, okay. Joy T. That's how he says correct, but Joy is okay too. Okay. Now, Barb says, now we know who has the brains in the family. Go, Walter. I'm not insulted, Barb. Where's that delete key when I need it? Oh, Awkward Quilter says, that's good to know. I felt like I was stuck in a virtual corner when I joined a virtual Zoom. Ah, okay. So I'm take it that you don't find breakout rooms to be a positive experience. And actually being stuck in a corner, that's the way I feel about breakout rooms too. That you're being shoved off to the side. Hi, Colleen. Faith says, if we want to eat, we could go to the breakout room. Yeah, that's an inside joke for people who have been on the pop-up so days before. And I'm not going to explain it, but I know what Faith means. Hi, Marilyn. Oh, hello.
Is it raining in Las Vegas?
Must be soggy Las Vegas, so it sounds like it.
We know how that works.
Oh, Melissa's already ahead of the game. She's already got the charm packs and the background for it. Okay. How big is my quilt, Benita? That quilt measures, I believe it comes out to about 53 by 53. It's a square. So it's not a huge quilt. You could, you could do more charms on it. Yeah, somehow you could put a couple of more borders on it or whatever to make it a little bigger. But it's 53 by 53. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the chat and we've shown you stuff. So, reminders, Sewing with Stephanie and Steven, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to come, it's open to everybody. Runs until about 4 in the afternoon. Pop-up sew day, I've already talked about that. We had a good time. It was a great day. Lots of people sharing lots of things as well. And if you've never been to a pop-up sew day, that's basically what we do. You work on whatever you want to work on. And if you need help or tips, or you just want to share a trick or show what you're working on, feel free. Okay. So let's talk about the subscribers. Yes, I hit the 10,000 and at the first of this past week, and it's still growing. I haven't looked today. The last I looked, I was at 10,186. So we're moving along. Once you hit 10,000, apparently, Stephanie told me this, the algorithms kick in, start promoting your channel a little bit more. And so more people suddenly who've never heard of you or whatever find out about you, and then they may join up. And that, I think, is what's happened. I've had a lot of new subscribers in the last little while. So what am I going to do about it? I'm having on February the 10th, which is a Saturday, an all-day, kind of like a pop-up sewing day. You come, you sew. Now, some of you may want to work on the quilt when stars collide, and I'll be there to help you along the way, but it is not a sew-along. I'm not actually going to be working on the quilt itself. I did mine with it. But if you run into a problem with the pattern or you have a question about it, I will be there to answer them. But don't feel obligated when you're at the bash that you have to work on my quilt. You can work on whatever you want to work. So in that regards, it's like a pop-up sew day. But what makes it a little different is the fact that I can only handle 96 people on the Zoom. Now, I had a very nice email with some really great suggestions and reasons behind it just before we went to air today. Suggesting maybe I could make it more of a YouTube live. Well, there's some problems with making it a YouTube live. Yes, more people could be involved if they wanted to, but it would become a logistical nightmare in order to manage the chat. And I'd also have to tie Zoom into the live chat as well. And yeah, I kind of know how to do that, but here's the problem. There's only me and Walter managing this, and it could become a logistical nightmare given the technology. So that's one reason why it's not going to be a YouTube live. Also, a YouTube live records when you connect the Zoom into YouTube live, it records the whole event and it replays it on YouTube. And this is a whole day event. So no one's going to who didn't partake in it, or even if people who did partake in it, are not going to watch the replay. Okay?
Well, not only that, part of the reason having Zooms in the first place is that you're not being broadcast on
Exactly. And that's the other thing. It's a security issue as well. Security issue from what Walter just said, but also managing the people that are coming in to make sure we don't have somebody slip in who shouldn't be there, who wants to be nasty. So that's the other reason. Now, there are things you can do in a YouTube live, like for example, the chat right now is set up that only subscribers can get into the chat. But again, there are trolls out there, and even if you've got some safeguards in, they can sometimes get around them. And it's just too much to manage, really, with the technology that I have available to me. So yes, it is going to be a Zoom. It will not be recorded. But you're going to have to register for it. Okay? Kind of like my retreats in one way. And I would have liked to try to have avoid registering, but the problem is, again, my license for YouTube only allows me 100 participants. I will need 4 spots taken from that because I will be running at least 2 computers, if not, no, I'll be running 3 computers, and Walter will be running a computer. So there's 4 slots taken right there. So I'm only going to be able to handle 96 people. And if it's anything like the retreats, there's going to be more than 96 people that want to be involved. And I'm sorry, I'll say this right up front, that I can't accommodate any more than that. So that's why I'm going to have you pre-register. On February the 1st, I will open up the registration process at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. How does it work? You send me an email at 9 o'clock or after. And when it comes in, you will have given me your first and your last name, your real names. And you will give me the email address that you wish to be contacted at. Now, it may be the email address that's already the one that I will see when you send me an email, and that's fine. But if it's different from that, then I need to know which one you want to be contacted at, because I may have to send out some notes or things like that. And I know a lot of people have more than one email address, especially if you're still working. You might be using your work email address, but you have another one that is for non-business related things. So, I've had it before where people have sent me a registration for one of my retreats and they've used their email address from their work, and then I have sent them stuff and they didn't get it for one reason or another. And then basically yelled at me because they didn't get the email. And then I find out, yeah, because you're checking your personal email, not the one that I have on record that you gave me. So those are the only two things: your first and last name, real ones, and the email address you wish to be contacted at. And it'll be on a first come, first serve basis. And everything will come into me time stamped. So I will just work from the very first email up to the 96th email. And I'll keep a list of everybody that's there. I will send you a confirmation notice saying that you are registered. And in that confirmation notice will also be the link to my pattern as well, and probably some other details about the day as reminders. Okay. Now, what happens if you live in a different time zone? I'm sorry. I can't stop the world from spinning. All right. Everything will be Eastern time because that's where I'm at. Right. And there is no way that I can accommodate the whole world I could put it later in the day to open up registration. So that would work for possibly the people out on the West Coast, but it's not going to work for anybody that's across the ocean, okay? Or in Australia, especially for Australia. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I think you understand. I can't do anything about that. Time zones. I'm trying to keep it as fair as I possibly can, but I will not be able to accommodate everybody. I know that. So I get everybody on there. I fill it up to 96. I stop taking registrations at that point. Will I have a waiting list? No. I do on the retreat, but this is different, okay, from the retreat. So no, there will not be a waiting list. However, having said that, and this is where it gets a little hairy, okay, the day of, I will allow people to connect into the waiting room, but that doesn't mean you'll get in. When a spot comes open, I will take the first person that's in my waiting room and drop them into that slot, and they will know that they're on. What does that mean for you? That means you have to be checking your Zoom to see if you're in. I know it is not the best solution, but I can't think of any other way around it. Okay. So the best thing I can say is if you're really desperate to get in and you don't get in, you'd have to connect into the waiting room and take your chances. Now, having said that, everybody that's already registered and in, if you leave for whatever reason, and what I mean by leave is you've got to go and pick up groceries, or you've got to pick up a kid or grandchild or something like that, or you have an appointment, it is not a come and go situation. There are no in and out privileges. When you go out, you're out. Can you come back in later? You can try. Because your spot's going to be taken by somebody that's in that waiting room. I know what you're thinking. It sounds horrible. Okay? But it's the best I can do, given the situation. Okay? So, yeah, that's how it's all going to work. Now, what are we going to do? Well, I've told you already, it's not as so long, but if you want to work on the pattern, feel free to do so. I will be here to help you out if you run into a problem. But work on whatever you want to work on, just like we do in pop-up days. But we have another dimension. I'm going to have prizes. Now, I've had people suggest to me that I send, have a quilt as a prize, wall hanging, some of my 3D printed objects. Yeah, all good suggestions and all I cannot afford to do. Not because of what it costs to make a quilt. I've got quilts coming out of my yin yang, okay? Done with that. And I have 3D things made coming out of my yin yang. It's the postage. The postage is horrible. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the States or in Canada. Either way, it costs a lot to send that. And I'm not made of money, okay? And this event is
10,000 subscribers sounds great,
but you're not getting any money for that, okay? You get a little bit for advertising, but again, not a lot, not enough to afford the postage for things to go out to people. And I'm not a business, so I can't. But what I can do is send you an Amazon gift certificate, because that's all done electronically. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, another reason for the registration is that I will assign each person a number. Actually, I won't even need a number. It'll be your name. And there's a giant random name generator wheel that you will see spin with everybody's name on it. And whoever it stops on wins an Amazon gift certificate. Now, I used the same approach at the last retreat, at the fall retreat that I did. And so some of you were there, and so you know what I'm talking about. And then I verify your email address with you, and I send it off to you. And then you send me back an email saying, yes, I got it, just so I make sure it didn't get lost in cyberspace. And that's how we'll do it. I'll probably have about 6 of these, and I will be drawing them at various times throughout the day. Will you know when they're going to be drawn? Yes and no. Again, you have to be there, sitting in front of your computer when I make the draw. I will give you a 5-minute warning that I'm going to draw. I know, this is the wicked part of me. And if you've decided that, you need to go to the bathroom now or get a cup of coffee, and I draw your name and you're not sitting in front of your screen, I go on and I draw another name. I know, nasty. I know for this. So, I'll give you a 5-minute warning. Go, okay, if you need to get a coffee or you need to go to the bathroom, now's the time to do it, because I'm going to draw in 5 minutes. I can probably even put a little countdown up on the screen for that as well. So, yeah, that's how it's going to work. Now, I've given you a lot of information on here, and I don't expect you to remember it all. So what will go up tomorrow on my channel, I have made a special video going through all of this. And in the show notes to the video is everything that I've just said now, a little better organized for you. So you can copy it out and refer to it or whatever. So it'll be there all explained for you. Okay, let's see what people are complaining about on my procedure for this or the...
No, they're talking about football.
Okay, collectively as a group, I would like you to pick a finger. Suggestion. All right, whatever. Did anybody even talk about the bash?
Not too much. There's a couple that says they're bummed to miss the event or something like that. What's the date that you're going to have this?
February 10th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but registration is February the 1st, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Well, okay, I guess I did a good job of explaining it. Okay, fine.
One says you're so generous, but a lot of the other ones are talking about football. Like, are you Detroit or Tampa Bay? Are you hoping for the Bucks or the Chiefs to win?
You realize that the focus of my channel is more quilting than sports, right? Okay, whatever floats your little... Then, for those of you, this is just like a bunch of kids in a classroom after you've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, there are no questions. You had better things to talk about. So you'll just have to wait for the video. Yeah. Quilting Girl goes, I was listening. Yeah, that's just like a kid in a class. I was listening. Yeah. Okay. So that's where we are going.
Yeah, it's definitely just
so excited to celebrate with Stephen and Walter Gramsci 10,000. She already knows how this is working, so Didn't need her attention. Okay, so that's what's coming up. It'll be exciting, and I hope the day runs smoothly, and it should. We'll see about that. Okay, speaking of other things, just advance warning. I have settled on the date for the retreat, the spring retreat. I'm not going to give you any details about that because I'm still working on them, but I do have some interesting presenters, but we're doing something a little different than other times. That's all I'm going to say right now. It's going to be on May 4th. So May the 4th be with you. That is a Saturday, and that's when the retreat will be happening. It's an all-day affair for those of you that have never been to one before, and all the details about that, and you do have to pre-register for it. It's kind of in the same method, but I do have a waiting list as well for that. But all of that will be explained.
Can you say the registration time again? Somebody missed it.
Oh, were you one of the ones talking about football? Who was it that missed this? I'm calling them out. Elsa. Uh-huh. You missed the registration time, did you, Elsa? Why was that, Elsa? What was it that you were doing and not paying attention? Don't make me make a call to your mother about your lack of attention in class, because I will. Okay, Elsa. And for anybody else, because I'm sure Elsa wasn't the only one. Registration time and date. Registration date is February the 1st, 9 a.m. Registration will open at 9 a.m. Eastern time, my time. Okay?
February 1st, right?
Yeah, February the 1st. And if you are confused by time zones, Google it. If it's 9 o'clock in Ontario, what time is it wherever you live? Google will tell you. Okay? That will help you. Yeah, Russ says Star Wars Day. Yeah, may the 4th be with you, Russ. We've already done that. Catch up. Let's see. Yeah, you can take, old teachers never die. They just lose their class. Yeah, but bump. The party sounds like so much fun. Thank you for all the effort behind it. Well, you're welcome. It's fun for me too. Oh, now she's making excuses. No, I was listening, but I'm a Ravens fan. A Ravens fan. Okay. Yeah, okay, Elsa. Fine. Your apologies accepted. Oh, I didn't hear one. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Marcia is here. She says, set a calendar reminder already. And Sherry is here. And we are multitasking. Nobody can multitask. I'm sorry, especially women. That's all I'm saying about that. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. She set an alarm. Okay, Barb says, about that registration time, you are forcing me up at 7 a.m. to register. Well, you should be up by then. Really? 7 a.m.? My God, you're wasting part of the morning already. I mean, get out of bed. Okay, so what else? Accuquilt update. So it is being fixed. And Zach at Kawartha Quilting sent me an email giving me an update on the progress of it. And I asked Zach if I could read this email to you because it sheds some light on the whole company of Accuquilt. Now, you have heard me say, and that is based on what I have heard from other sources over the time that I've owned an Accuquilt, that the Accuquilt company, as far as customer service is concerned, sucks. Well, Zach is an authorized dealer for Accuquilt, and he has set me straight on this. So I want to read this to you. First of all, the problem is what Walter and I already figured out, that the plug that goes into the adapter receptacle is too big. Zach measured it, found that out, and he has told Accuquilt about this problem as well. But in the meantime, he is getting one that's going to work, and he's fixing it up for me, which is wonderful. But you've heard me sing the praises of Kawartha Quilting before, and I continue to do so because I really believe in them. And things like this really prove how much they care about their customers. So he says about Accuquilt, he says, just want to say that Accuquilt has been very good to us and very good to work with. They're prompt in responding to any of our queries or concerns, quick to ship to us and very quick to replace any new and in-warranty product that arrives to us damaged or incorrect, as well as a product that does not function when it arrives to our customers. They do offer repairs on machines such as yours if it is sent back to them, but thus far, rather than make those repairs, they have had us simply replace machines. Because of this, I am also not sure if they actually repair machines sent back to them or just send replacements to customers. They may take that approach with us for our customers because of the high shipping costs to the US and because we generally have inventory of all models. They do not have parts such as what broke on your machine available to us through our ordering portal to make repairs, however. We've only sold Accuquilt for as long as we've been in this location. They moved locations about, what, 2 years ago?
A couple of years ago, yeah.
So we don't have many customers with machines that are out of warranty that are experiencing problems at this point. To my recollection, all the machines I've replaced so far have been under warranty. Otherwise, this machine of yours now and one other customers are the only out of warranty ones we've dealt with. In the circumstance of the other customer, she didn't even buy the machine from us. But because I kept her previously failed machine on hand, I was able to repair it for her while she was here and did so knowing that was certainly faster than any other option. Well, there you go. That person didn't even buy the machine from Kawartha Quilting, and yet Kawartha Quilting fixed it for her. I dare say there's a lot of companies that wouldn't do that. If you don't buy the product from them, they're not going to touch it. So while I can't speak to the experience some people may have had dealing with Accuquilt directly, I can say that we are very satisfied with our relationship with them and do not want to jeopardize that. I am very proud to say that according to them, we are the #1 Accuquilt retailer in Canada. Thank you for your part in that, and thank you to any of your viewers that chose to shop with us as well. It is always my intention to do my best by all of you. There you go. Okay? So basically, what Zach is saying is Accuquilt does have fairly good customer service. And he's also saying that if you buy a machine, especially if you're in Canada, from an authorized dealer, you should be looked after without any problem with it. This has raised my impression of Accuquilt as a company. Before, I had not a favorable one, but Zach is very reliable. He tells the truth about things. I have no reason to disbelieve anything in that email that Zach has told me. So this is good news because they are expensive machines, and I'm happy to know that they do stand behind their machines, the company Accuquilt. Now, a few years ago, that may have been different because they have what I understand is new owners. I'm not sure how long ago that happened, but maybe now the new owners are being much more customer aware. I don't know. But anyways, I thought I should share that with you. What are people saying? Ravens have pretty uniforms too. We're still going to be talking about the Ravens, are we?
Only women would talk about.
Yeah, really. I
pretty
mean, it's so
uniforms.
weird. Yeah. Right. Oh, they're so lovely. Joy, you can ask the teacher a question. I'm not sure what Marcia is BSing about. I don't know what that is about. Diana Miller says, sorry I'm late. Was watching Road to California with M.A. Couture. She is Janome Gal. Would be a good interview. Lots of neat new tools in the exhibit hall, all from the comfort of our home. And Lydia's here. Hi, Lydia. Yes, Maxi Doodle. They're an excellent dealer. And I know some of you have dealt with Kawartha Quilting if you're in the area, or even some of you out further away in Canada and other provinces have dealt with them and have said the same. Mary's here. Hi, Mary. And Karen, would you be a higher than average home user? Yes, I would be. Okay. I use my Accuquilt all the time. And if you saw So Chatty on Friday, I showed you how, because this came from a subscriber. They want to know how you can adapt a pattern to using your Accuquilt dies. And we did a whole thing about that as well. But yes, I use it a lot. Maxi Doodle says, Stephen, I spent a ton with other owners. The customer service was great. Yep. Everyone's watching football so they can see the men in tights.
Yeah. Russ says it.
Yeah.
Russ says it right to the point.
Yeah.
Gets right to the point. Not so much the uniforms.
No,
What's
it's
in them.
more like
What's in them?
what's in those uniforms. Yeah. You do realize they wear a special protective cup. It makes everything look bigger. Okay? Just for you fantasies out there, one's having fantasies. Sherry says, I'm not watching the chat. I'm just sewing and listening to what you and Walter have to say. My team got out last week. Go Browns. I'm just going to end this over this.
I'm not. I've never been much into football.
No.
I mean, I hated it as a kid when playing it.
I played anti-football when I had to play it in phys ed. You know, if the ball went to that end of the field, I went to the opposite end. Like, don't throw it to me. Don't throw it to me.
I'll watch soccer before I watch football. So
Yeah. Marcia says women multitasking. No, they don't. You'll never convince me that any woman or any human being on the face of the planet can multitask. That is just a myth. Elsa says exactly, Russ. Men in spandex. Marilyn says they like the tight ends. Okay, people. Where is this going? And Ezra says she doesn't have a dealer within 100 miles. And I'm assuming she means Accuquilt and not drugs. Not these kids are my kids' ages, and I just can't get past that. Okay, you guys have got a whole fantasy thing going on here. I'm a Packers fan. I've lost control. Okay, so since we're talking about spandex and tight ends and things like that, let's talk about shorts. And I don't mean the type you wear, I mean YouTube shorts. You've noticed that lately I have been putting up different shorts. I have never done shorts before, but I kind of like them. I'm kind of getting hooked on them. I started watching other people's shorts, and then I thought I'd try my own, and they're so easy. So be prepared. There's going to be more shorts on there, and they're getting a lot of views. Who would have thought that over 1,400 people would be interested in me cleaning out my kitchen cabinets? I think what you were really interested in was whether or not I was going to fall on the floor and Walter would start laughing as I broke a hip. I have a feeling that was more why people were watching that. But we did clean out the kitchen cabinets, and you saw the short where I showed you the boxes that we were taking to Value Village, a charity place we have in our area. 7 boxes of stuff. Of course, I went through it with Walter. And Walter was like my dad when my mother would clean out things in the house. Well, I said, but maybe we should hang on to that because we might be needing that in the future. Sure, Walter. Yeah. My mother was a person who wasn't a pack rat. If it didn't move, she got rid of it. And then one day my dad didn't move and she got well, anyways. But my dad would look at the stuff she was packing up. And he'd go, well, maybe you should hang on to that. Yeah, you should. He'd have various reasons. She'd go, no, get rid of that. Take it out. So he'd take the boxes out, and then he'd take the stuff out, some of the stuff out, and he'd put it in the garage. So when we had to clean out my father's garage when we were selling my parents' house, we found all the stuff that my mother thought she got rid of. And then I got rid of it. But anyways, we did this. So we had these 7 boxes. So we went to Value Village and donated them. They don't hire the most, the cleverest of help. This young person that was there outside in the cold with these great big huge green bins, look like garbage cans, on wheels, and he just stood there. He didn't say 2 words. I kind of almost had to use sign language with him, like, does the box go in there? And the boxes were filling it up. So I thought, he would say, okay, I'll bring another thing over. No. So there was a lot of glass. So we just...
And we didn't wrap it up. So
No, so we just piled it up, and away he went with it. But we found out something interesting about Value Village, and this prompted me to find things out about other charitable places where you go to get rid of stuff, and then they sell it, right? And the idea is that they're selling it at, rock bottom prices, and a lot of people shop there because, they can't afford brand new stuff, like especially clothing, and they can get some deals and things like that. So yeah, And at our Value Village, this isn't a picture of ours, this is an article that I found. Our Value Village apparently, at one point in time, were using money that they made from selling stuff and donating it to Diabetes of Canada. Well, they don't do that anymore. In fact, they don't really donate money to anybody. And so I found this article. It says, Selling the Poor, the Politics of Value Village. And I kind of condensed the article to some bullet points. So one of the things that was in this article, it says, on the one hand, the search for cool secondhand goods has led to an increase of middle and upper class people shopping at Value Village. This expansion of its demographic has certainly normalized wearing secondhand clothes. And I'm sure if you've ever gone in one, you see young people especially, and they're going through it. They call it vintage, right? And retro. This normalization has perhaps led to a decrease in the stigma that poor and working class people may experience when their clothing is not visibly name brand from the mall, high quality or trendy. However, this has also led to the increasing prices of Value Village because it's supply and demand. There is now a demand for people who want retro and vintage clothing, so they put the prices up. Well, fine. Those prices are probably affordable for people with decent jobs, middle class, and are doing this because they're into this kind of fashion. But what about the people who do not have enough money to feed and clothe themselves without assistance? They used to be able to go in there and get a pair of jeans or a top or a coat for, $5 or something like that. Now they can't. Now that $5 jacket that, you need for winter is costing $25, $30, $35 or more. So what's that all about? And then it says that Value Village says it purports to be providing used quality goods and the ethical issue of framing itself as a charity when it's in fact a multinational corporation. It's owned by a corporation called an American company called Savers, who are one of the many corporations owned by the conglomerate TBG Capital. So I always had the impression that Value Village was owned by an umbrella charity group, like maybe United Way, or I thought maybe it was actually owned by the Diabetes Society kind of a thing, because that's what they were advertising that the money from sales went to. No, it's by a conglomerate, a big business. It says Value Village needs to make a huge profit. By selling at a high price as its surplus commodity, Value Village can maintain its workers at minimum wage, pay administrators, donate something to charity. Exactly which charity and how much is being donated is unclear, it says in this article. And finally, most importantly, pay out its wealthy investors. Didn't you say they're listed on the stock market?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So, okay, so here you go. You're donating your used stuff, your gently used stuff, and you think, this is better than putting it in landfill or something like that because it's going to
a good cause.
A good cause. It's not. It's going to line the pockets of people who already have money and who are investing in this. Over the past 10 years, the prices at Value Village have become inconsistently and drastically high, sometimes more expensive even those very same clothing items purchased new from discount retailers. As a store, and then they say, they've got a quote from them, say, as a store, we place over 10,000 items to the floor daily, and 95% of the items are sold under $10, is what they say. But the person researching this article said anyone who's shopped at Value Village knows this is clearly not true, with regular products priced upwards to $25. And these are not exceptional or high quality products. In fact, the idea that a high quality item should be priced higher is dubious. Wasn't that product donated in order for a low income person to have access to it? That's what we all thought, that we were doing something good for this. I'll give you an example. I noticed this a few years ago. Well, actually quite a few years ago now, when I was doing paper crafting, and I was buying canvases, paint canvases at Value Village for like 99 cents. And I would paint over whatever was on the canvas and use it for my creations. But then they start to go up. You couldn't get them for 99 cents anymore. They were starting to creep up to $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. And that's when I stopped going there, because at that point I could buy brand new canvases at a local art store for about the same price, at about $5 to $7 a canvas, depending on the size. So there was no advantage to buying it at Value Village. Clothes, well, we look at clothes when we were looking for Halloween costumes, but that's another big thing for Value Village is Halloween, and they sell costumes there. And you used to be able to go in and buy a bloody wig, a wild wig for like a couple of bucks. Not anymore.
No, actually, the one close to us actually stocks new items for Halloween.
Yeah, never been used before, brand new. So, more like a department store. So this really discourages me from wanting to give them anything more in the future. So what are the alternatives? So we'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to go back and see what people are talking, what other people's thoughts are about this. Where is my bloody... Okay, where is it?
Well, you press the wrong button.
No, I didn't. Here it is. Oh, wait, this is where I want to go. Okay, so lots of comments here about this. Goodwill in the US is the same. They are not a charity. They keep their profits. CEO makes millions every year. When customer complain, they donate 10% to the community. Yes, I found that in an article about that, Diana, that corresponds to what you're saying as well. And then Elsa says Goodwill at least provides jobs for people with developmental disabilities. Yes, they do that, and that's what they focus on. That's what they are doing. They're not focusing on the fact that they are offering goods at, cheap prices to help out people who have very tight budgets. Goodwill is a for-profit company, not a charity, but they are always asking customers to round up their total to support jobs for disabled owners. Andy says, I read that the CEO of ASPCA makes $1 million a year. An author of the article recommended you donate directly to local animal shelters. Well, we did something a few years ago about all of these charities and how much of it goes to administration and how much is actually given out to the charity. And some of them go up as high as 90% of what they bring in from charitable donations goes to administration, not to... So lines the pockets of the CEOs and the other upper echelons in the charity, and not, doesn't go to the people it should really be going to, that they say it's going to go to. Charity isn't cheap anymore, Quilter Girl says. Very sad. Those who need it most can't get it. Lydia says, in our area, I think we only have the Mission, that thrift store. That is a non-profit charity. Yes, I'm going to talk about them in a mission. A secondhand store in our town has some clothes that are more expensive than buying a similar item for sale new at Target. They also pick and choose what you take to them. Yes, in fact, on all the ones I looked at, they do have a FAQ talking about what they will take and what they won't take and why. And so basically, they like to use the expression gently used. Well, I get that. I mean, if you give them a rag or you give them something that's broken, well, they can't sell that to somebody. So those are things that are meant for landfill or whatever. But I'm sure they see their fair share of that kind of stuff. People just take in very big boxes of useless crap. That, what do they do with it then? They throw it out. So, most places, Shannon says, are like this. Susan G. Komen for breast cancer. The vast majority of the money goes to CEO. Pennies go to actual research. That's very much same as a lot of our cancer society is here too. Quilter Girl says, here the workers filter all the really good stuff, collectibles, etc., and it goes off to auction houses. Oh, okay. I've not heard about that, but that does fall in line with what we've been saying. Anna says, I never give to Value Village. I find a family who needs clothes and give it to them, friends or relatives. Yeah, that might be the better way if you really want to give something that you know is going to be appreciated by somebody and really help them out. I know there are churches in our area that do this as well. You can take it to them, and they have a group of people on a committee that know of people in the local community that are in need of things like this, and so they make sure those people get it. Diana says the Salvation Army CEO takes only $12,000 a year in salary. We're going to talk about Salvation Army as well. Savers used to be into the Epilepsy Foundation, not anymore. Iser says, I'm not fond of Savers. Every store is musty and expensive. Thanks for the information. I will be going to the Assistance League. Barb says she'd rather give stuff away on Facebook Marketplace. Suppose that's a possibility. Monkey Man. Hi, Monkey Man. Volunteer at thrift shop in southern New Hampshire. Is that New Hampshire? Yeah. We are all volunteers. Every cent we make, with the exception of heat and lights, etc., goes to Poplin need and our people in need in our country. That's good to know. Sounds to me like that's probably a local thrift shop. It's not one that's tied in with some of these other corporations or large not-for-profit charities. Melissa says she has a difficult time donating to organizations that discriminate. Thank you for bringing that one up. We're going to talk about that. We have Habitat for Humanity here in Goodwill, helps out folks trying to move away from being homeless. Yeah, the whole Goodwill thing is, where did I find? I found this is Goodwill's page, and they talk about it. Walter says he doesn't think we have Goodwill in Canada anymore. We think
there was once in Toronto all closed down because there was scandal. There was scandal where people were basically people that were running the stores were taking money.
Yeah. But then I found this article, The Dark Reality Behind America's Greatest Thrift Store Empire. And that was Goodwill they were talking about. And I highlighted a couple of things from this particular article about them. And it said, now, on their website, and they're calling it the Canadian Goodwill, so the website is probably a little dated now, given what we've just said about the Canadian Goodwill. But it says, Goodwill offers an atmosphere of dignity and respect for individuals who wish to attain independence and build self-confidence through acquiring the necessary skills and life experiences. Well, this is what somebody said, that they often hire disabled people and like give them a job kind of thing and help them out. And it says Goodwill works to help rebuild the community in 3 ways: retraining people for new jobs, helping people develop job skills, and recycling used goods. Goodwill offers job placement to individuals with special needs by training them to be successful in areas such as appliance repair, upholstery, carpentry, and customer service. So it's a little different premise. However, are they hiding what they're really doing with the money when they sell the goods that they have behind this approach? I don't know. I just know that our Goodwill in Canada, in Toronto area, became loaded with scandal, and
they used to have a Goodwill in this area too, and
but it's gone too.
Either. So I don't know if that's the case for all of Canada or not. So
no, but I think they're still very active in the United States as well. Now, we were also talking about, someone mentioned Missions for Bibles. We have one in our area, and I did not know much about them, but the name in itself, Missions for Bible, or Bibles for Missions, that's what, Missions for Bibles or Bibles for Missions, Bibles for Missions. It's funny, but it was started in Abbotsford, BC, which I did not know, and that's where my brother lives. In fact, I think my niece and my sister-in-law might have something to do with them. I'm not sure or not about it, but they seem to be much more upfront. First of all, they are a Christian group, and they use the money that they make to place. Well, it says here, we believe in helping right here in our community to strengthen the fabric of our community. This is why we partner with other local nonprofit organizations to help create a safety net for people experiencing difficulties. We do this by offering discounts or gifts of items that we sell. If you're part of a local nonprofit and want to know more and how we can work together, please use the form on the contact page. This is our mission to share the goodness of God by helping our community and our environment and by promoting the gospel of Jesus Christ. And if you read it down further, they place Bibles in different places and whatnot. So yes, they're a Christian group, but I don't have a problem with that if they're really genuinely helping people. And an article that I found on them, we donate the net revenue from our thrift store to fund our joint ministry with Bible League Canada. They in turn place the Word of God into Bible-based leadership development, church planting, and literacy programs in over 43 countries, giving people access to the life-changing Word of God. They also serve the persecuted church, as they call it. So their bend is more or less to help people on a spiritual level. And of course, it's kind of recruiting people to Christianity. But I don't know if that's really a bad thing, because they're doing it in around 43 different countries in the world. And if they're going into places that, that are very poverty stricken and that, I'm sure they're doing more than just placing Bibles. If you're going to be preaching to the masses, you got to feed them as well and help them out and help them build community. And they say they build communities as well. So, as much as I'm not against religion, I'm against organized religion. But if they're doing something that's good, then I can live with that. And we've donated some stuff to Missions for Bibles. And I think right now, given the selection we have in this area, I don't think I'm going to give more stuff to Value Village. I think it's going to go to Mission for Bibles or Bibles for Mission.
Well, the other one was the one that's the St. Vincent de Paul, which is actually associated with the Catholic Church, I think. But they do have a place down by in the area where there's more poor people in Oshawa that they deal with stuff.
And that was something that I think came up about the Salvation Army. They have what they claim that they put their thrift stores in areas where it's more accessible to people who don't have like a car, like they have to take the bus system or walk, and so they can easily access their thrift store. And this article, what you should know about Salvation Army thrift stores, some highlights from that one. One of them is, why are prices high when donations are made to help people in need? Was one of the questions. Is our pricing is very competitive and we check it regularly against other used goods retailers, both charitable and for nonprofit. Although donated items are free, as a charity we have expenses such as paid staff, rent, utilities, property tax, insurance, and trucking expenses. Additionally, even though we divert millions of pounds of items from landfills, so they have this bend towards the environment, 32 million in 2012, and we are a major recycler of metal, electronics, books, cardboard, leather goods, etc. We do generate some garbage, and the safe disposal of that garbage comes with a cost. So they're justifying what they charge in their thrift store, and I don't think I've ever shopped in a Salvation Army thrift store, so I'm not sure what their prices are like in comparison to, say, Value Village or the other ones or regular stores. But it seems to me that they're kind of justifying what they're charging because they have overhead and a lot of overhead, and then they try to throw in the environmental queue as well, which I don't know. I think that's milking it. After expenses, the proceeds we generate support the Salvation Army's many social programs such as children's camps, food banks, and shelters. And through the thrift store, we provide free of charge items to individuals or families referred to us from various social service agencies and other charities. Okay, that's a good thing. And yeah, they are trying to help people out, and the Salvation Army has a history of doing that as well. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to donate to the Salvation Army, but here's the problem I have. if you're not a member of the LGBT community, you may not care about this, but we are. And they have a history of discrimination against the LGBT community, and they've been attacked for that in the public eye. And the Salvation Army has come back, and their position, it says here, the Times, New York Times, also published the Salvation Army's position statement on homosexuality, which has since been deleted from the organization's website. See, they used to have a policy that went against the gay and lesbian, etc. community. This is what they say now. The Salvation Army does not consider same-sex orientation blameworthy in itself. Homosexual conduct, like heterosexual conduct, requires individual responsibility and must be guided by the light of scriptural teachings. Scripture forbids sexual intimacy between members of the same sex. It does not. Let me make that perfectly clear. Any person who has read the Bible and is educated knows it does not. And the one book of the Bible that is quoted the most for this is Leviticus, Sodom and Gomorrah story, and the whole bit. And it has been misinterpreted to mean what they are saying about sex between same-sex partners or whatever. It's a lie. It's a lie. Okay? Don't even argue with me about that. I've done a lot of research about this over the years, and it's a lie. So that's what gets my goat about the Salvation Army or any organized religious group that uses that as their defense for why they don't support the LGBT community. The Salvation Army believes, therefore, that Christians whose sexual orientation is primarily or exclusively same-sex are called upon to embrace celibacy as a way of life. Well, how's that working out in the priesthood of the Catholic Church? Yeah. Leads to pedophilia. It leads to nuns getting knocked up. It leads to orgies and everything. And I'm not making that stuff up. You can find that easily enough anywhere on the internet too. So this is what I have against the Salvation Army and why I will not donate to the Salvation Army. And also there is a price to be paid when they take in people into their shelter system and they feed them, give them a place to sleep, but they also sermonize to them and try to radicalize them to become Christian as well. And I dare say that the Salvation Army do not support people that come from other religious backgrounds or have an affiliation, you know, like Muslims, Jewish people, things like that. But why would they go to the Salvation Army anyways? Because if they are already practice those religions, it would be not logical for them to go there with it at all. Now, I'm sure the Salvation Army in other areas, in other parts of the community, are doing good work. But they're not getting my money or my donations because, as far as they're concerned, I'm an abomination. So, we're an abomination. So, yeah.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, you're an abomination on so many levels. I don't know. Anyways, this is the stuff that I found out about. Oh, did I put that back?
I don't know.
I guess. Anyways, let's go back to the chat here. I'm sure a lot of people have got lots of things to say. Yeah, we saw that. I'm just trying to pick up here where we left off. Joanne G says, I looked it up. It says the Goodwill CEO earns more than $700,000. Well, good job if you can get it. I mean, I'm not saying that those people that are in those positions that have to run this shouldn't be paid for it, but let's be reasonable. They're a charity, you know, a not-for-profit charity. $700,000 seems excessive to pay one person in this, doesn't it? Brenda says, I volunteered in a church-run thrift shop, and they look items up and price a little under new for some items. I wouldn't call it a thrift shop anymore. Yeah, to maybe competitive shopping, but that's what you expect from stores having price wars with each other, not from a charity. Um, yes, Julie, that's right. Jesus didn't write any gospels. God didn't write the Bible. It was written by men, and men are fallible. And when I say men, I mean men and women. They donate, Deborah says, they donate net revenue to the Bible placement work. How much goes to administration costs from the gross revenue? Just a thought. Yeah, that's true. It's all in the wording, isn't it? Here as well. Like, I didn't think of that, but yeah, they're net. So what do they have left over after their supposed expenses and things? Yeah. Marcia says Salvation Army is reasonably priced. Iser donates clothing to a woman's shelter. I tried to donate furniture, but only Habitat for Humanity will pick up for a charge.
Yeah, actually, I went to Missions for Bibles a couple of years ago, and I had a really nice, decent chest of drawers, and they wouldn't take it until they looked at it to make sure they could resell it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I don't really have anything against that.
Well, I can understand that, because I imagine people dumping off broken furniture to them or furniture that isn't resellable, sort of thing.
Well, those old St. Vincent de Paul and I don't know other ones that have those big steel boxes in parking lots or something.
They were diabetes.
Yeah, well, whatever. But you would see stuff because they'd be overflowing.
Yeah.
But you would see people literally putting garbage outside around them. It was garbage.
Yeah.
They were too lazy to take it off to the dump or put it out where it should be. So, yeah. So I can see why charities would be a little picky about what they're getting. Because after all, they can't sell broken stuff. They need to have stuff that they can resell so they can make money for the charity. A lot of people don't, Marcia, know that about the Salvation Army, but we know because we've spent some time exploring this. And in the gay world, in the LGBT community, most members of that community know this about the Salvation Army because there's been an ongoing war between the LGBT community and the Salvation Army. Hi, Marianne. And Iser says, I was just about to mention how they discriminate against our other beliefs. They made a friend remove her hijab and her outer clothing before they could assist her. Yeah, you see, that's not right. If they're supposed to be helping all people in need regardless, because that's what they sort of, they don't really say that exactly, but that is the assumption most people have about the Salvation Army, and they're being discriminatory. Marcia says, I'm a Christian and believe Jesus loved all his sheep and that we should follow in his footsteps. Sorry, organized religion, so negative for many, but understand, trying to make a difference. Yes, Marcia, not all Christians are evil. I am an ex-Christian, okay? I left the church for other reasons but this is why I have nothing against spirituality. Actually, I have nothing against person who may follow the Christian faith as long as they're not trying to convert me, force it down my throat, or discriminate against me because I may not necessarily fall into what they believe is right. We all have our standards of what is right and what is wrong. We all have our own belief system. And, we may not agree with someone else's views, but in a civilized society, and I don't know if we live in one of those, we need to accept other people's point of view. So, tolerate it. I don't like to use the word tolerate because that suggests a hierarchy here, that if you tolerate somebody else's beliefs, you are better than they are because you're tolerating them. No, accept them, I think, is a better term. Julie says, our village has an emergency food pantry through the one Catholic church here, but the one big grocery store here lets Salvation Army ring bells for their church at Christmas time. Doesn't share dollars. Yep. I tried to say that's why Salvation Army doesn't ring their bells in front of Target. Target is LGBTQ friendly. Yes, that's very true. I have read about that as well. I don't think Salvation Army should be allowed to stand outside any place looking for donations, because I don't know of any other not-for-profit organization I've not seen. Can you think of any that we've seen, other ones?
No.
I mean, you do go to the grocery store and you'll get, would you like to give $2 to the Cancer Society, like when you're checking out, or to Sick Kids Hospital or something like that. So, but I can't say that I see anybody with a little drum besides the Salvation Army.
Maybe that's just because that's always been the case.
Maybe. It's tradition, I guess. I mean, you think of Christmas, you think of Salvation Army, kind of a thing. Marsh says, thank you. I'm an elder in church, open to all in any role, embrace more than tolerant. Yeah. Yeah, embrace. That's a good word. That's a good word. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting because we took them 7 boxes of stuff, thinking that we're doing a good thing, and then we discover all we're doing is lining the pockets of the rich. We're not helping people that really need to be helped. So,
How many poor people need our wine glasses?
well, that's true. Wasn't all wine glasses. There were some pretty vases in there. Little miniature salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know, but yeah, wine glass. Well, maybe it would be nicer to pour yourself a drink into a glass rather than drink it right from a paper bag.
True.
On a street corner. I don't know. Class up the homeless. Hello, cheers.
I do know that I'll be a little bit more picky about where I give used clothing to.
Yep. I mean, I don't want to put the stuff in the landfill.
No.
But
But I would like to go to a charity that I believe there's a church in our area that collects used clothing.
I think there's several actually in our area that do that. And I would rather give to them because I know that they are helping people within the community with it. The church I used to belong to did that as well. So, oops, got a thumbs up there. But anyways, okay, so that's it for today. We actually got through a topic that we were going to talk about for a change. Yeah, that's because you people were all like
talking about football.
No more of that.
And we won't talk about football.
We will not talk about it.
We discriminate.
We do. We don't like footballers. Now, I've got nothing against anybody that plays football or has football. It's just I don't.
Or watches football.
I just don't understand it. It has no interest to me. So I don't know. Watching, of course, mind you, they are right about these guys in those tight pants.
Yeah, but that's not an incentive for me to watch football.
No, I guess not. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for subscribing. It's helped. I'm still, mesmerized by the fact that I hit 10,000. But having said that, please, if you have not subscribed to Stephanie Stitch's channel, check it out. Please do. Please subscribe to Shannon of Slay Arts. She's trying to get to 1,000 and she's very close. And Russ of Quilt Meets World. They're both neck and neck in the race to get to 1,000. So please help them out by subscribing if you haven't already, and direct some of your friends to their channels because they have great content as well. All 3 of them do. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye.